to react because she's behaved appallingly by not telling the palace what she's going to do. And I think the most interesting story is the Reitman story. Reitman's is like a Marks and Spencer's in Canada. And I got the most...
7 years old. In a Newsweek article that looked at this very same question, it looked at what her sister, Samantha Markle, has said. Samantha has called out many of her lies. And about her age in her books, maybe she was trying to play older then, who knows? Sometimes you want to play older when you're younger. But yes, this was a mistake and it was not picked up before publication. And that has prompted many people to then run with this and say it's true. It's not true, guys. It's not true.
They say age is just a number, but when it comes to Meghan Markle, that number might be one of the juiciest mysteries the royal world's ever whispered about. Because this isn't your average who made who cry over bridesmaid dresses type of drama. Oh no, this one goes deeper.
Advert, 80 strong cast and crew, who tell this story about a woman who is, after all, only paid $15,000 a day, peanuts for a star, to advertise the...
You think Meghan's biggest secret was walking out of the palace? Think again. Because Tom Bower, yes, the royal bloodhound who can sniff out scandal from a mile away, just dug up something that even the palace's polished walls never dared to whisper.
$1 a pair of clothes. And she behaves appallingly. And they all loathe her at the end. And she walked...
Just when everyone thought Meghan's past was sealed behind royal marble, Bower decided to start digging again. And what he found could be the plot twist no one saw coming.
A theory that's been out there for a while. It's been floating around. Royal fans are convinced Meghan Markle is lying about her age. In fact, they think she's older. And
somewhere, buried deep in the dusty archives of 17 magazine, a 1,997 issue has suddenly exploded across the internet. Tucked away in a little feature was a name most teens ignored back then, Meghan Markle, age 21. Nothing suspicious, right? Until you remember, officially, she should have been 15 that year.
Markle, did you buy into her thing that she had no idea what she's really getting into?
Oh, on the contrary, I think she's a very scheming, very clever woman. No, I think the surprising thing at the end of the book, I realized...
Now, either 17 magazine had a psychic intern on staff or someone's math just isn't mathing. A 6-year gap? That's not a typo. That's a mystery begging for popcorn.
She'd been. Here was a woman who was nothing. I mean, born, broken family, the whole thing, an unknown actress, all the rest of it, becomes a global star, which is what she wanted.
And naturally, royal fans lost it. TikTok detectives, Reddit theorists, and even a few royalists with too much time started connecting dots that had never lined up before. Was Meghan lying about her age? Was it part of her Hollywood reinvention? Or is she actually older than we've been told all these years?
She lies a lot about her stuff. We've caught her in so many lies. Her own sister has come forward, her family, everybody is exposing the lies that she's been telling. And it would only make sense that she might lie about this. Would it be such a big deal? Is it true? Well,
Tom Bower didn't shrug this off as a magazine typo. He called it a revelation that changes everything. Because if one tiny line in a 90 seconds teen mag can throw Meghan's entire timeline into chaos, what else has been quietly edited in the Duchess's fairy tale story?
Father, I want to be famous. I want to walk down the red carpet. And she has now done that. And she's calculated that she could be a great success.
And judging by Meghan's silence, let's just say the Duchess might be wishing that old 17 issue had stayed buried forever. Let's rewind to 1,997 for a second. The spice? Girls were blasting everywhere, the internet was dial-up slow, and every teenage girl clutched a 17 magazine like it was gospel. Hidden between beauty tips and celebrity crushes was that tiny, now infamous line, Meghan Markle, age 21. Hold up, 21? In 1,997? If her official birth year is 1981, like every royal biography claims, she would have been 15, not 21. So where did those extra 6 years come from? Time travel? Typo? Or was someone already rewriting her Hollywood story before it even began? Tom Bower doesn't think it was an innocent mistake. He believes that little line was the first crack in a carefully polished image. It's not harmless. He hinted it's part of a pattern. And honestly, it tracks. The magazine's long forgotten, but archives don't lie. They just wait to be discovered. When royal watchers caught wind of it, social media turned into a digital crime scene. Old photos, school records, yearbooks, all dragged into the spotlight. Fans joked Meghan was aging backward like Benjamin Button, while others swore she'd pulled off some next-level Hollywood age rebrand. But then things took a personal turn because Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, entered the chat. He's not just a random parent. He's the man who took her to school, sat through her first plays, and watched her hustle through auditions. If anyone knows Meghan's real timeline, it's him. And according to Bower's research, even Thomas admitted that a few details just don't line up. He remembers the teenage years, the acting classes, the high school graduations, the early gigs. But when he compares those memories to the glossy version, Meghan's PR team tells the world, it's like watching two completely different movies. Certain milestones don't match up. The ages she claimed during early auditions, the years she said she graduated, even the timelines of her first roles, all slightly adjusted. And it's not just confusion, it's that quiet disbelief only a parent feels when the math doesn't add up. Thomas doesn't sound angry. He sounds puzzled, like a man realizing the daughter he raised might have quietly rewritten parts of her own story. If even her father's memories clash with the public record, Bauer writes, then what exactly is real? And honestly, ouch. Because if there's one person who could expose Meghan's truth, it's the man who watched her grow up or thought he did. But Tom Bauer isn't your average royal reporter. He's not the guy who politely sips tea and moves on. He's the guy who shows up to a royal garden party holding a magnifying glass instead of a teacup. When others whisper, he investigates. So when he spotted that 1,997 17 magazine listing, he knew he'd found gossip gold. He started digging like a man-possessed archives, interviews, school records, cross-checking Meghan's official biography with her early Hollywood mentions. The deeper he went, the stranger it got. There it was, black and white, printed forever. Meghan Markle, 21 years old, 1,997. According to her official timeline, she should have been 15. That's not a rounding error, that's a whole life chapter gone missing. Bauer called it one of the strangest inconsistencies I've ever seen. And coming from a man who's uncovered royal cover-ups before, that's saying something. He didn't stop there. He matched photos, statements, even quotes from Thomas Markle. Each new clue pointed to the same conclusion: the timelines weren't just fuzzy, they collided. It's almost as if someone had quietly edited her history, softened the dates, refreshed the image to make her Hollywood rise look more like a young starlet story. And if there's one thing Tom Bauer can't resist, it's peeling away that kind of PR polish. Because if Meghan thought her past was safe behind palace gates, Bauer's investigation proved the truth doesn't need a crown to be into the verd and have-nots. Shine. So let's lay this all out like a royal crime board. Timeline 1. Meghan Markle, born the 4th of August 1981, Los Angeles official version, repeated everywhere. By that math, she's 44 inches, 2025. Clean, polished, Duchess approved. Timeline 2. 17 magazine, March 1997, Meghan Markle, age 21. If that's true, she'd have been born around 1975 or 1976, making her closer to 50 today. That's not a typo. That's an entire decade that's gone missing. And that 6-year gap? In Hollywood, 6 years can be the difference between a fresh new face and an aging starlet. It changes everything. Suddenly, the underdog actress who broke into fame in her 20s starts to look like someone who'd already been in the game, just under a new label. Fans who once believed in her California Girl meets Prince Charm story suddenly started side-eyeing everything. Did Harry know? Did the palace know? Or were they all reading from the same script, the one that forgot to update the script? A timeline? When you stack those timelines side by side, it doesn't look like a mistake, it looks like a makeover. Not the kind you get at Sephora, the kind you give your entire life story. Meanwhile, royal loyalists online had a field day. Maybe that's why she left the palace, one joked. Didn't want to celebrate her real birthday under royal surveillance. Others compared the mystery to Diana's secret tapes, calling it the age scandal of the century. And while the jokes flew, Meghan's silence only made things worse. The lack of denial became its own confirmation. Behind the scenes, Tom Bauer doubled down. He wasn't backing away from the storm, he was fanning it. His next interviews hinted that more evidence could surface. More archives, more contradictions, more people who remembered things differently. The man was relentless. When Bauer chases a story, it's like watching a bulldog with royal tea in his jaws. He won't let go until someone admits the truth. And Meghan? According to close sources, she was devastated. Not just embarrassed, genuinely heartbroken. She had spent years building her reputation on empowerment and truth, and now a 6-year mystery threatened to undo it all. Insiders whispered she burst into tears when her team showed her Bauer's latest comments. She couldn't believe something from 1997, a forgotten teen magazine line, was now haunting her decades later. She just kept saying, "Why now? Why this?" one insider shared. But Tom Bauer didn't care about timing. To him, the truth was timeless. Now, here's the cruel irony. Even when proof began surfacing that Meghan really was born in 1981, court documents, family confirmations, official records, the internet had already made up its mind. Because gossip doesn't care about facts. It feeds on drama, and Bauer's story had all the ingredients: a mysterious age gap, a secretive duchess, a relentless reporter, and a royal family, desperately trying to act unbothered. Soon, old classmates started emerging on social media saying, "Wait, I remember Meghan. We were the same age, and I'm turning 50 now." Others countered them, insisting the records were clear she was born in 1981. It became an online tug-of-war between believers and skeptics. And in the middle of it all, Meghan sat quietly in Montecito, smiling for cameras, posing for charity galas while her past burned through headlines like wildfire. The whole world was talking, dissecting, analyzing, but through the noise, one truth remained. Tom Bauer had struck a nerve. Because this wasn't just about whether Meghan shaved off a few years. It was about how fragile her carefully curated image really was. The same Meghan who'd built a global empire on being authentic was now accused of the oldest Hollywood sin reinvention. And that's why this hit so hard. it wasn't just another scandal, it felt personal. Because when someone brands themselves as the voice of honesty, people expect perfection. And when perfection cracks even a little, the fall from grace is brutal. The internet started doing what it does best, turning chaos into comedy. Memes flooded Twitter. Archaeologists discover Meghan's real age written in hieroglyphs. Breaking. Scientists find Meghan's birth certificate next to the Rosetta Stone. Even late-night hosts couldn't resist taking jabs, but behind those jokes was a woman reportedly struggling to breathe under the pressure. A source close to Meghan allegedly said, she feels like she's reliving the palace, years scrutinized, judged, and powerless to defend herself without sounding defensive. And honestly, that's the sad truth. No matter how much she tried to move forward, her past had followed her. Because once Tom Bauer digs up your old records, the internet never lets you forget. Meanwhile, the palace maintained their famous stiff upper lip. No statements, no clarifications, just polite smiles for the cameras. But behind those smiles, there were whispers that this could reopen old wounds between Meghan and Harry, tension over secrets, image, and trust. Some insiders claimed Harry begged her to let it go. Others say he defended her fiercely, insisting she's not lying, they just want to destroy her. Whatever the truth, the tension was real. The royals, of course, pretended not to hear the chaos outside their gates, but make no mistake, they noticed. Because image control is the monarchy's oldest game, and Meghan's alleged age mystery threatens to unravel that perfect chessboard. After all, the family's already dealt with runaway royals, explosive interviews, and endless PR battles. But this was the one secret that touched their brand at its most vulnerable point: credibility. Tom Bauer had done it again. He'd cracked open another royal layer, and this time, it wasn't about tiaras or tantrums, it was about truth. And for Meghan, that truth cut deep. Because no amount of charity work, documentaries, or glossy magazine covers can compete with the internet's favorite weapon, a good scandal. Weeks later, as the headlines finally began to fade, Meghan appeared at a California event glowing smile, elegant dress holding Harry's hand. But eagle-eyed fans noticed her eyes looked glassy. Her smile? A little too rehearsed. It wasn't exhaustion, it was heartbreak. Heartbreak that after all these years, she was once again the target of the very machine she tried to escape. And somewhere out there, Tom Bauer probably closed his notebook, satisfied. Because for him, it was never personal. It was about peeling away the polish and showing the cracks beneath the crown. But for Meghan, it was deeply personal. Because even if she truly never lied about her age, the damage was done. The world loves a scandal more than it loves a correction. By the time the dust settled, the hashtags had cooled, and the debates had drifted into gossip history, one thing was clear: Tom Bauer's discovery had left a mark on the Duchess's story forever. He didn't just expose a number, he exposed how fragile the illusion of perfection really is. Today, the royal world still debates it. Was it a mistake, a misunderstanding, or a masterclass in reinvention? No one knows for sure. But one thing's undeniable: Meghan Markle's name will forever carry that question mark, that quiet, lingering what if. And somewhere deep inside, behind those elegant smiles and designer gowns, maybe even if just for a moment, Meghan Markle wonders too.